it slips and slops its way across the floor.
Well, that's what mops are made for, isn't it? I suppose. Um, my dad, he died when he was 65 years old.
Mm.
He actually died on his birthday.
Well,
Although he was ill, he did die from an illness.
yeah.
My mother, she died when she was 72. Um, and a lodge brother of mine, if you know what I mean,
Mm.
he died recently. Pedro Gorgona de Nóbrega Filho.
Mm.
He died at the age of 92. And of course, he died quite young when you put him at the side of your father-in-law,
Yeah.
who's 100 years old.
Yeah.
Uh,
102
and
now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
102, right,
Nearly. Yeah.
and still going.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm going to say he's relatively active when you consider he's is almost 40 years older than what I am.
Mm. Yeah.
40 years. That's more than half my life span
Mm. Yeah.
as
Yes.
it is. So I asked myself, if I last that long, would I have to look? What will I do for the next 40 years? What will I do?
Mm.
Will I look for a new career?
Mm.
Will I uh, just become a blob, which
Mm.
looking at me at the moment is more likely. You know,
Right. Okay.
they say that uh, that 60 is the new 40.
Yeah.
It, I'm 60 plus, and I'm doing the gym. I'm going to the gym,
Yeah.
stuff like
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
which I know that my uncles didn't do when
Mm.
they were my age when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and my dad didn't do. You
No.
know, when he was more or less my age. Um, and of course, your father-in-law,
Mm.
102, he's only a youth when it comes to Maria Brangas Moreira. Now, she died recently in a nursing home in a place called Olot, which is in northeastern Spain.
Yeah.
And she was 117 when she died, when she drew her last breath, so to
Yeah.
speak. Right? And she was in the nursing home for more than 20 years of
Mm.
the last 20 years of her life, which in itself is a feat, not for her, but for the nursing home to be
Yeah.
active over 20 years.
Mm.
She died in her sleep without pain, said one of her family members.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know that for sure, do we?
That well.
Because
Yeah.
nobody knows. But what they can say is that she didn't make much noise.
Well. Yeah. That was peaceful, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, it was for everybody around her,
Yeah.
you know. Um, uh, I've had a heart attack. I've had a heart attack, and I've got stents
Oh.
in,
Yeah.
in 4 stents in
Mm.
my arteries and stuff. And sometimes when I go to bed at night and my chest hurts,
Mm.
and I think to myself, am I going to have a heart attack here, or is it indigestion? Right?
Yeah.
And so you just lie there and you're thinking, am I going to wake up in the morning?
Mm. Yeah.
Let's go to sleep and find out.
Yes. Okay.
So if I think that, I'm sure that she must have thought to herself from time to time,
Mm.
is this going to be the last time I'm going to close my eyes when she goes to bed at night?
Mm.
You Certainly during the last 30 odd years of her life. when she was only, 80, 87 years old.
Yeah.
I heard that she was on a private pension plan, and the company went bankrupt because
Yeah.
they kept on having to pay a pension for it.
Yeah.
Of course, Maria was only a junior
Mm.
when compared to Jean-Louis Calmat,
Mm.
who died after celebrating 122 birthdays.
Oh, wow.
Now, that's a lot of candle wax.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's an awful lot of
Yeah.
candle, an
Yeah.
awful lot of candles.
Yeah.
And she was the oldest person alive
Yeah.
that's ever been alive, according to the Guinness Book of Records. This lady,
But yeah.
looking at her name, she looks like she's French or something like that.
Mm.
And 122,
Mm.
and 164 days, if I'm not mistaken, just to
Yeah.
like 6 months. But this Maria, she said on her social media account, so she, she must have been on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the time is near. Well,
Yeah.
of course it is, love.
Yeah.
You're 117 years old.
Yes.
She says, "Don't cry. I don't like tears, and above all, don't suffer for me."
Mm.
Well, I don't know what she meant by that, but you know. But after the death of Maria,
Mm.
Tamiko Ituka picked up
Mm.
the banner, picked up the baton
Yeah.
at a sprightly 116 years of age, as the oldest living person. Who's actually living person.
Mm.
I mentioned all this
Mm.
because recently in the UK, the Office of National Statistics
Mm.
showed that life expectancy in the UK
Yeah.
in women is an average of 87 years old, on average.
Yeah.
Men, on the other hand, have life a little bit more difficult
Mm.
and end round about 83 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
So on average, fellas, I'm afraid your missus is always going to have the last word.
Yes.
I believe there's 150,000 people in the UK
Mm.
who are over 100 years old.
Right.
So my question is, are people living longer, and how? And I say and how. I know that there are improvements of
Yeah.
medical things,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about those people that just expire from their own volition.
Mm.
That they aren't kept alive
Yeah.
by
Understand. Yeah.
by medicine.
Yeah.
In the case of Pedro, who I mentioned at the beginning,
Mm.
he died because his batteries went out. His batteries.
Yeah. Exactly.
died,
Yeah. That's it.
So are we living longer, and how?
Right. Okay. Well, you're talking about facing your own mortality, as it were. Yeah, I mean, we all do that. I do exercises sometimes, and the other day I had a pain in my chest, probably from doing the exercises. But yeah, I get worried just in case I've over-egged it. I mean, I'm in my 50s. I mean, it's not I've ever stopped exercising. I've always done something. My weight goes up and down, but yeah. So yeah, but I mean, I don't try not to run too much. I don't push it. I'm not one of these people who's going to push it because I need to remain reasonably healthy. Not in order to prevent myself having a heart attack, not to get a heart attack doing it. If you understand what I'm saying, yeah. Or reduce the chances. Let's put it that way. Yeah, none of us are sure. I mean, as a Catholic, you're always brought up, not the time, not the day nor the hour, I think is the expression. I've always lived like that. When I was at school, I think I said before, we had a priest come and visit. He opened up a sermon, to saying these 14 to 16-year-old boys, in 100 years' time, you'll all be dead. Happy day to you too, sir. That's what it is. I tend to look at it like this. We have a finite time. Whether you believe in a deity or nothing in the afterlife, we've probably got a set amount of time. I did this biology that we've probably, our bodies all deteriorate at a prescribed rate. It's all different. I could have a medical today, tomorrow, that's it. Yeah, perfectly healthy. Yeah, so, I mean, stress can be a factor. I'm leading into this now. I mean, stress can be a factor into what happens. I mean, to me, you're quite a laid-back, calm person. I don't know if you feel stressed inside. I don't think you do, because you've got your way of dealing with things that I know about and other people around you. Lifestyle. If you eat fish and I've done a lesson about food recently and talk about fish and chips in England, British food compared with Brazilian food. Probably on the whole, Brazilian food is a lot, and probably most European food, Mediterranean food, etc., is probably a lot healthier. Possibly. I mean, you'd have to speak to a nutritionist about that. As we get older, when we're younger, we think we're immortal. It's like when I was 22, 23. I had my whole life ahead of me. Suddenly, you end up at 54 with all the responsibilities in the world. What went wrong? Yeah, I'm now closer to death than I was then. I mean, the important thing is whatever life throws at you, to try and deal with it best you can, to be optimistic about it, not to think maybe tomorrow's my last day on earth. Maybe think, well, hopefully I'll be granted another day tomorrow. Yeah, there ain't a lot you can do about it if you're not. To say whether people are living longer, I'll jump in here. If you look around graveyards, I used to look around graveyards, or I still do, given half a chance. I enjoy reading gravestones, tombstones. Yeah.
Happy chappy you are.
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm a bit weird, but it's something my family always did, and I think we're not the only ones. You go around, like in England, in the UK, in England, you go around, there's a graveyard. It's always interesting to see the ages people died. And even back 200 years ago, it was in their 70s, sometimes 80s. It's rare to see anyone in their 90s, admittedly. We don't always know if the ages are right, because there weren't always very good records kept. If you actually do it, tracing your family history, sometimes that gets quite frustrating, especially in Ireland, funny enough. Well, actually, a lot of the records got lost in Ireland as well. But it's a hobby we have. But yeah, you look at it, there's still 70s and 80s. Occasionally you see a sad one, like somebody in their 20s. Yeah. So natural causes. I don't think possibly people were healthier back then because they were exercising more. They worked on the farms. They were outdoors a lot more. They weren't sitting behind a computer doing podcasts, etc., as a part of their form of their entertainment. So they were enjoying life. They may have actually been probably not drinking water, but drinking other things. Probably quite relaxed. Didn't worry about so much about information. So less stressed.
So are you saying that people lived longer a long time ago, or are you saying they're living longer now? We're living less now.
No, I think we're living about the same overall. I'd like to see statistics, but I'm looking on this. I've never researched this. But like I said, looking at the evidence and anecdotally and reading things, this person was in their 70s and died. This person, went through a war and all that and died peacefully at 82.
Just so I can understand you, what you're saying is if we haven't if we're not dying sooner and we're not dying later, then all all this healthy living that they had, and all the stress that we've got now, it doesn't make any difference.
I don't know. Do people die of stress? They die as a symptoms of stress. I don't know. I mean, you'd have to speak to yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people under therapists around the world now, and I'm not quite sure what therapists do. To me, they just sit and listen and somebody talking about their problems and coming up with their own solutions. I do. We don't do that with each other, really. You slap me about and say, "Get on with it, Mark," so to speak. Not literally slap me, by the way, people. Yeah, amongst other things. But it's a. I don't know. I'm waffling a bit here, but I'm just trying to build a picture here because this is obviously a random thing. I think stress is a factor. I think there's a lot of combinations that it might be the balance that we're more stressed, but we're also more aware of what healthy living is, supposedly. We probably, I'd like to say exercise more, but I don't think we do. We've got gymnasiums now, which we didn't have years ago. I live in a country, with all due respect to you, Steve, you go to the gym. I like running and doing exercises along the beach here, the Beauviagem beach, in the nice, by the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, living the dream, as it were. That's how I stay healthier. I go out and I find it distresses me. If I have a session where I can't get my computer to work properly, I can set it off and go for a walk. Then it sort of goes into my mind what I'm meant to be doing with it. So we do have a lot more that makes us stressed now. It's very difficult to go off grid, which is a shame. I have now, in my own lifestyle, not watching so much news, so I don't get so annoyed, so stressed. Yeah, I've got other stresses in my life that are quite normal, and I can deal with them. I think, yeah.
I think that if we think that this might make us live longer, or this might cut our lifespan by 5 years or so. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think we'll ever know.
No,
it's just an idea.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
One of the most interesting things I saw recently on YouTube, and I suggest that you do this. Actually, it's quite funny to watch.
Yeah.
It's Masters Athletics.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Masters Athletics is something that I've only come into contact with recently. I'd say this last 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I saw this 100 meters race of these old men. The oldest, he was 98 years old.
Yeah.
98 years old, running 100 meters. And you get them sub 25, 20, 26, 27 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, Usain Bolt can do it in 9.
Well, yeah, he can't anymore. But yeah,
will he be able to do that when he reaches 98 years old? If he reaches 98 years old,
yeah, he might have burnt out his clock on that one. Yeah, because that's the other thing. Yeah,
I think what I have noticed is as we're getting older, we're tending to not relax as much as what my uncles. I've never met my grandparents. They died before I was born.
Right. Yeah.
But my uncles and aunts and even my own parents, when they got to a certain age, they started to take life easier. Take life. I've got some friends of mine in the UK.
Yeah.
Go hill walking.
Yeah.
And they go for miles. I have a friend who's 50. I think he's about 56 years old now.
Yeah.
Here in Brazil, and he does 17 kilometer walks.
Yeah.
He told me that he lives in Recife.
Yeah.
He said he walked to Jaboatão.
Yeah.
Which is about 9 kilometers away to get his hair cut.
Yeah.
And walk back.
Yeah.
And I said to him, well, if you're short of money for the bus fare, all you have to do was ask. I said to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just likes walking. He just likes walking.
Well, I mean, I do it for fun. So I walk. I probably might walk sometimes, probably 8 kilometers when I go for a walk, which is not 17. It's half, but yeah. And I find it's enough walking by the sea, feet in the sand, as it were, and on the thing, then do some. Yeah, every so often we got the exercise bars on the seafront. I might do a few reps on one thing, move to the next, move to the next. Yes, all the time I'm relaxing and doing things. It's all balanced. I'm not going to be a champion at anything anymore. But yeah, but I enjoy it. And I think there's 2 levels to it. There's physical fitness and mental wellness. Yeah. Mental wellness doesn't come from spending all your time on your phone, unfortunately, for some. Yeah. And it doesn't come, and you've got to enjoy it as well. That's the important thing. If you suddenly decide you're going to cut everything that's fun out of your life, why bother?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I just hope that I don't live to be 100 because I just don't know what I'm going to do for the next 40 years.
Well, I'll be quite honest. When
It's a long time.
Yeah, we started this with about my father-in-law. He's very happy. He has a house full of people who sometimes he'll come around and have a party and all that. And he's there. He's okay. He can't participate exactly. He can't drink and has to be careful with his diet. I got into trouble one day because I gave him a bit of cake, and the rest of the family jumped up. I thought, let the man enjoy himself still. Yeah, this like.
When you get to that age, you can do what you like. I'd be drinking all sorts of stuff.